Hello, class. We're about to start section 1-4, take a guess. Now, according to the syllabus, we're supposed to cover page 45, problems 1 through 7, page 48, problem number 20, and then page 49, we're supposed to pick two problems. So let's take a look here. At the bottom of page 45, it says an isotherm is a curve on a map that connects locations where the temperature is the same. By looking at a large map with isotherms, you can get a rough idea of what the temperature is like in many different locations. Using a map below, estimate the temperature in each city. Okay, now we look here at Las Vegas, Nevada, which is L. So we find L on this graph here. And you notice here L goes to 40 degrees. So Nevada would be 40 degrees. Okay, next we'll look at Phoenix, Arizona, which is P. And let me go back to number one. The reason why it's 40 degrees is because this point is directly on this line, which goes to the 40 degrees. Okay, now with Phoenix, Arizona, P, we go here and find P. We find it here. Now, if you notice, P is a little bit, it's close to 50 degrees, but not quite on it. So it's about 48 degrees. Now we go to Dallas, Texas, which is D. Now, Dallas, Texas, if you notice, is in between a 20 and 30 degrees, like really right smack in the middle. So that's about 25 degrees. Springfield, Illinois, S. You look here, it's in between 0 degrees to 10 degrees, but it's closer to the 10 degrees, so it's about 8 degrees. Atlanta, Georgia, A. If you notice here, it's closer to the 30 degrees, so it's actually, well, it's a little bit, it's close to half between 30 and 40, so it's about 33. Now we have Miami, Florida, which is M. We go here to M. We notice that it's a little bit past the 50 degrees, so it's about 51 degrees. Now, last but not least is New York, New York. So we look at N. If you notice, N is a little bit below the 0 degrees because this is going into the negative zone here, but it's closer to 0 degrees than the 10 degrees, so it's about -2 degrees. Okay, now we move on from page 45, and now we need to go to page 48. Now, on page 48, we're looking here at problem number 20. Now, if you notice here in the directions, let's go above it, where they say using technology. Now, when they're talking about using technology, originally this book was used for the TI-84, and it shows you the steps for how to put in the TI-84 calculator, and I do believe that the steps are exactly the same for the TI-83 calculator as well. And then also, if you use Microsoft Excel, it also gives you a description of how to put in Microsoft Excel. Now, I did encourage you all to use Desmos, which is a very, very good program, good free program that you can use. So I will be doing this in Desmos to make it a lot simpler, not only for myself, but for everyone in the class, because everyone does not have the TI-84 or TI-83 calculator. So if you're using Desmos on your cell phone or on the computer, you'll notice here that you have this keypad, and what they're asking you for problem number 20, it says fill in the correct value to make each equation true, and it says no calculators. So let's do this first. Square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2, and we ask ourselves the square root of what is 3. So if you look here, if you take 2 to the second power, that gives you 4. So 3 to the second power will give you 9. So the square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of something is 6. So we'll take 6 to the second power, and that will give us 36. So the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 64 is 8. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 121 is 11. And then we come here. The square root of some value is 12. It'll be 144. Because the square root of 144 is 12, because 12 times 12 is 144. Then the square root of 169 is 13. The square root of 196 is 14. And the square root of 225 is 15. Now, they wanted us to do that without a calculator, but you could actually use your calculator if need be to find the answer to these problems. Now we're going to move on to the middle portion. It says, estimate each square root to the nearest whole number, then write a statement using greater than or less than to indicate whether your estimate is more or less than the square root. Okay, so now we have the square root of 11. Now, if you look here, we can put this in our calculator and just put the square root of 11. And if you notice, it's 3 point something. So we can round that to 3. So we know 3, so the square root of 11 is approximately 3 if we round to the nearest whole number. And we know that 3 is less than the square root of 11. And the reason why we know that is because the square root of 11 is larger than 3. Now we go here to the square root of 78. With the square root, we take the square root of 78, and that gives us 8.8, and we know that could round to approximately 9. And we know 9 is greater than the square root of 11. Square root of 78. Guess I was looking at that top problem. 9 is greater than the square root of 78. And the reason being is the square root of 78 is 8 point something, and 9 is greater than that. Now the square root of 99. So we'll take the square root of 99. And that gives us like 9.9 approximately. So this is approximately 10. And we know that this is greater. So 10 is greater than the square root of 99. And then finally, we'll do the square root of 124. And we know that's 11.1, so that's approximately 11. And we know that 11 is less than the square root of 124. Because we know that this is higher than 11. Now we move on. It says use a calculator or a spreadsheet to approximate the following square roots to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so we need to go back. We can go back here to the calculator. We had the square root of 11. They said to the nearest hundredth. So that means we go to 3 decimal places. So this would be approximately 3.316. We go to this third decimal place to see if we will round up the second decimal place. So since this is 5 or more, it'd be 3.32. Now we go here to the square root of 78. Again, we'll go to 3 decimal places. It'll be 8.831. We would not round that third decimal place. And then we will round here, and we notice that this is less than 5, this third place, so it'll just be approximately 8.83. Now the square root of 99, we notice here is 9.9, so it'll be approximately 9.949. And we know this third number is 5 or more, so it'd be approximately 9.95. And then last but not least, the square root of 124, we'll put 11.135, round to that second decimal place, so it'd be 11.14. Now, we move on to the last page here for this section. The last page here starts on page 40. Actually, page 49. So we need to go to page 49. And we will look at problem number 1. Now, we needed to pick 2 problems. So what I'm going to do is tell you which 2 problems I want you to do, which would be problem number 1 and problem number 6. So with problem number 1, let's read the directions first. It says, spend some time thinking about and discussing each question below. After talking with your group, make your best guess and explain your reasoning. Remember, these are supposed to be educated guesses, not shots in the dark. So think about using some basic calculations to help you. No using phones or computers to look anything up yet. Finally, after making your guess, write down some information you would need to know to find a more accurate answer. Okay, number 1, how many text messages do you send in a year? Now, of course, that's subjective, but let's just say we make 1,500 in a year. And then the reasoning, you could put, I do not text often. Because 1,500 texts in a year is really not that much. Okay, the information needed, you just check my phone bill, check my text, or call my mobile provider. These are all ways that you could get how many texts you made in a year. So now, I said I wanted us to do problem number 1 and then also problem number 6. So problem number 6 is actually on page 51. So with problem number 6, it says, how much time do you spend watching TV each week? I put 7 hours. And the reasoning, I don't have time to watch a lot of television because I am a college student. Information needed, the time of the shows I watch, and that's it, the time of the shows that I watch. And this is basically it from this section. And if you have any questions, please email me, or I will talk to you at our class session on Big Blue Button. Have a wonderful day.